I'm asking the Minister his views on the research paper written some time ago by the two professors of the ESRI, and to comment in relation to the proposals contained therein and the estimates contained therein in regard to water charges and savings in water supply.
86.
Following the decision by Government in December 2011 to establish Irish Water on the basis of an independent assessment carried out by PricewaterhouseCoopers, my department launched a public consultation to inform development of the implementation strategy on the reform programme. Almost 300 submissions were received, including a submission from the ESRI. All of these were taken into consideration in developing the implementation strategy published in December 2012. Submission received from the ESRI concluded that the establishment of the new utility is an opportunity to achieve significant efficiency gains which will result in lower costs to the taxpayer. The submission noted that the independent assessment indicated that staffing numbers would decline over time and commented that the transfer of staff from local authorities and the terms of employment of staff and services should be at the discretion of the new company. The model adopted allows Irish Water to build up its own internal capability as it considers appropriate, with competitive processes which draw on expertise within the sector of some roles. Irish Water has entered into service level agreements with each of the 34 authorities for the provision of specified services. Staff and local authorities conducting work under these arrangements will remain local authority employees. The SLA reflects the transformation agenda required for the sector, with provision for annual service plans which will set out required performance, budgets and headcount. The actual headcount which will be required over the period of the agreement is intrinsically linked to the levels of investment within the sector in automation, rationalisation and infrastructure and operational upgrades. The establishment of Irish Water will lead to improved efficiency and effectiveness of water service delivery, and progress in this regard leading to staff reductions will be closely monitored in the context of annual service plans. It makes far greater sense to accelerate and improve investment in and management of water service assets through a single efficient model than attempting to replicate systems through 30 separate local authorities. So we are reforming our water services to address significant deficits and weaknesses in the current system. In particular, 18,000 people on public water supplies have a boil water notice or other restrictions. Remedial action is required on 16% of supplies at risk, covering almost 1 million people, including large schemes such as parts of Dublin and Cork. There are significant supply constraints in Dublin. The unaccounted for water is unacceptably high at 40%, and the European Commission has launched a pilot infringement in relation to 80 treatment plants.
I have to interrupt the Minister. The rest of the reply will appear in the official report. Deputy Higgins.
Minister, you claim repeatedly that the setting up of Uisce Éireann Irish Water will save €2 billion up to 2021. And you give the impression that some kind of magic efficiency is involved here. Can I put it to you that this is the most cynical mendacity? And will you confirm today what Uisce Éireann Irish Water has confirmed, that this figure of €2 billion will in fact be accounted for by water taxes on households, and that is where your €2 billion figure is coming from, but you haven't been honest enough to spell that out. Now, the ESRI paper estimates that water tax from households could amount to €630 million per annum, or €426 per household on average. Can I ask you what figures, what estimate is your department putting on the water charges when you bring them in? And can I ask you furthermore, if you will agree that this is a tax for a service that is being paid for by those householders at the moment and for many years in the past directly from their income tax, VAT, etc., and that imposing a new tax is a blatant double taxation and unjust?
I'll be back to the Deputy Minister.
I'm not surprised Deputy Higgins would certainly disagree with the manner in which we are setting up a semi-state company to deliver efficiently and effectively a service that is not being delivered effectively and efficiently through 34 local authorities. We're spending €1.2 billion of taxpayers' money, working people's money, as you call them, for the purposes of delivering an essential facility, water, through 34 local authorities, and 40% of it is going into the ground in unaccounted for water. And what we've been doing over the last number of years is investing in replacing some pipe network, but we are not able to keep up to speed in relation because of the constraints on the finances we had because of the reckless policies pursued in the past and that we were with a Troika agreement. So if we want to have additional monies in provision for capital investment for water, we have to cut back elsewhere. And can you make suggestions about where we can cut back in housing and health or education in order to deliver what is essential arising from information I gave you earlier, where we have significant constraints on water supplies in Dublin, in your constituency and indeed in the Greater Dublin area. We have significant challenges for capital investment. And can you tell me where we're going to get the money?
Thank you, Minister. Deputy Higgins.
Minister, it's a damning indictment of your government, your party, which was in government in the 90s and again for the last 3 years, and your predecessors in Fianna Fáil, that 40% of expensively treated water is leaking into the ground. And that's because all of you have successively not invested and given the proper investment to the local government, the local authorities, to fix that network and to make it efficient. How could the local authorities remediate this disgusting and disgraceful waste when you didn't give them the funding to do so? Secondly, both your party in government before and Fianna Fáil absolutely failed to amend the building regulations to have water-saving devices in people's homes that would save billions of litres of treated water on a yearly basis. And now you have the neck to come on and say you have to have this for this, that and the other reason. I'll tell you where you'll have a saving. Stop paying the bondholders billions of euro that the Irish people never incurred. That is not their debt. Stop paying the 9 billion in interest alone that you paid last year and will pay this year, and put those funds into infrastructure in water, in health and education, and we'll transform our society. And what is your estimate of water charges per household?
Minister, final reply.
The matter of water charges will be decided by government, by Irish Water, when it makes its submissions to the Commission on Energy Regulation, which is the regulator for water. We will make the submissions. The regulator will ultimately decide on what the level of charge will be. And you have patience, and you'll get. There will be no. No, hold on.
Please.
Actually,
Minister,
Deputy Higgins,
reply.
This was a commitment in the Memorandum of Understanding that we were to have property tax on water charges in 2013. We had property tax, but we don't have water charges in 2050. So if you need to get your history lesson quite correct. I want to thank the staff of local authorities who are in difficult times at the moment, trying to ensure that on the coastline of our country are trying to manage supplies. But equally in your constituency and in Dublin area, on a daily and an hourly basis, there are staff and local authorities who are actually managing the water supply to ensure that your constituency have adequate water supply. And I want to thank them for that. And we're going to continue with those particular staff because of the knowledge and corporate memory, and they have the expertise built up to ensure that that particular situation continues. And we're going to use Irish Water, this commercial semi-state company, in public ownership to get additional monies to invest in our water product in the future.
Thank you, Minister.
And you didn't give me an answer to know how you get the money in a realistic sense.
We've now to go on to other questions.